So Shams has reported that Giannis is officially on market. We already knew this, but there was an official, I guess, report to it today. There are a couple of teams seeking out trades for Giannis. I would just like to know which teams are actually willing to make that trade and if they think they are one player away without sacrificing the depth that they have. I really do think that the Knicks are a fit, but we will have to see what happens. I don't really know how much they'd have to give up. We did post a trade proposal video yesterday and an idea where Cat would go to the Bucks, Mikal Bridges would go to the Blazers. A bunch of picks involved, at least 3 first-round picks are involved in 2 pick swaps, and the Knicks would also get Drew Holiday. So So we'll see what happens, but Giannis is a main trade piece right now. Michael Porter Jr. is continuing to have a career year. They just lost to the Suns, which is good for the Nets. However, he's keeping games close. I feel like they need to get rid of him before it's a little bit of an issue. You need to kind of tank into that lottery position if you're the Nets. Try and fight for a Debanza or Boozer even. It's a stacked draft class, so we'll have to see. But honestly, my Sixers are looking pretty good. Joel Embiid's looking good. Paul George tied the franchise record for most threes in a game with 9 yesterday, going 9 for 15 from 3. I think he had 32 points. The Sixers are in the East. I think the Knicks need to make a move, not necessarily to stay ahead of the Sixers, but maybe to further themselves away from a team like the Pistons. I think the Pistons could also make a move going for a guy like Michael Porter Jr., maybe give up Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, and a pick or two. I think that would be a great trade for them. So we'll have to see how it works out, but I think that would be the best moves for them. Just got to see what happens. But I'm honestly curious to see who you guys want traded to what teams. John Morant obviously is still out there. The Rockets might need a point guard. Tyus Jones is available from the Magic. That might be a small but beneficial move for them. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think smaller moves are also the biggest moves at the trade deadline sometimes. When you trade for a guy like Giannis or Cat or whoever you want to think about that's on market right now, sometimes you have to give up way too much depth. That's, of course, not always the move. You're in a rebuild with that superstar for that year. You might make the playoffs. You might get bounced out early. So you got to reconsider how you want to trade or if you want to trade and see what happens. I think an interesting trade, and Bobby Portis came out and said to leave him alone because he was put in a mock trade proposal. Him, Kuzma, and a pick for John Morant. I think that would maybe keep Giannis around in Milwaukee at that point. However, I don't think Milwaukee really wants John Morant either. So I think Milwaukee would be more willing to get rid of Giannis in a full rebuild than trying to make it work even further and, trying to keep him and try and trade something else for a guy like John Morant. I don't think it makes the most sense, but we'll have to see. Trade deadline is next week. I believe it's almost exactly a week from today. Um, so it's going to heat up pretty quick. By the time we get to the weekend, we're probably going to see a trade or two. We do see a lot of trades on the actual deadline day, even overnight. You never know. I mean, some of these guys wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and see that they got traded. So we do have a new video out now, talking about Joel Embiid and the hot start, or not hot start, but hot run that he's on at this moment in time. He's been dropping like 30 plus over the last like 7 games or so, averaging about 26 over the last month. So I think the Sixers look pretty good at this time. It's them, the Knicks, and the Pistons for me in the East. And the Western Conference is honestly a bloodbath. And once the Nuggets get Joker back, I think the Nuggets should be the favorites with OKC struggling. I like the Rockets. There's just not a whole lot going on in the Western Conference with favorites. There's a lot of good teams, so it's kind of hard to pull out who you think is actually going to be a favorite. I really think the OKC Thunder get bounced this year, and I don't know who's going to beat them. I really like the way the Spurs are playing. I like the way the T-Wolves are playing. You might see the T-Wolves make a move for a point guard. I think that would be good for them, but I don't know if that would kill their depth or not. Even if they got a guy like Tyus Jones just to set people up, I think that would be cool. So there's a lot of moves to be made. I'm kind of excited to see what happens, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. We also have a new show that released over the last month and a half to 2 months called Off the Edge. If you're interested in football content, there's some good stuff over there on the defensive side of the ball. That's our other host, Zach Quinn. He takes care of that while I take care of Court Vision. Court Vision has an episode every week, and Off the Edge has an episode every week. Make sure you check those out. Make sure you subscribe. Comment if you like the video. If you don't like the video, we're trying to improve our content. So please let us know what you think. We're also going to be going live on TikTok here in a second. We're going to be on live a lot more as of late, especially with the Super Bowl coming up pretty shortly. We got a lot of trade deadline news, and also March Madness is on the way. And we did a bracketology challenge last year where we did a giveaway for a $50 Amazon gift card. We plan on doing something like that again this year. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Be locked in with us, and we'll have a good time. Another trade deadline. I'm on purpose there, but I want to see who the biggest sellers are. I feel like the Brooklyn Nets are going to be obvious sellers with the Michael Porter situation, but also I think the Sacramento Kings could be giving up at least 2 out of the 3 guys between Sabonis, Levine, and DeRozan. I think those guys are guys that can help winning teams. I don't know about being in number 1 roles, but I think they could be in number 2, number 3 roles and benefit from that position. So I'd be interested to see how that works. Like, imagine if a team like the Lakers got a hold of Sabonis. I think that could go crazy. Sabonis is definitely one of the better rebounders in the league. He can stretch the floor a little bit, but he's honestly not going to be needed to do all of that. When you're playing with a guy like Luka and LeBron, especially Reeves too. Like if Reeves gets into a point guard role a little bit more, even after LeBron's career is over, you can at least build around Sabonis, Reeves, and Luka together, and I think that would be cool. I think the Lakers honestly got to move a trade piece that they could use to try and find a guy like Sabonis. I don't know why they're holding on to Rui so much. I like him as a player. I just don't think he fits that team. It's just a lot going on, guys. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. And I feel like another hot take, if you're looking for one, the Phoenix Suns have Dylan Brooks on their roster, excuse me, um, averaging 20 plus. I don't think he's going to be a guy that will be able to do that consistently. So I think you really need to think about getting rid of him and kind of getting your bang for your buck early. Now, I'm also mentioning all of these guys, and every year, not every person that's talked about gets traded. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I'm not really getting too excited over the whole trade deadline. I think there's going to be a good 3 trades for sure, but we'll have to see how that goes. I don't, just don't get overwhelmed and overexcited about the situation. We'll just let it play out. But we are going to be hopping over to TikTok Live here. So please swing over there if you haven't already. And we will see you next time.